up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? Woo-hoo. Welcome to Wake Up Woodward. It is absolute pandemonium in the Detroit Tigers world. Pandemonium. Scott Harris has sent the Tigers world into an absolute tizzy.
A tizzy?
An absolute tizzy. Hey, look, it's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer. And I wanted to introduce Broder last because you're going to have to kind of just quickly take it away.
I used
our credentialed Tigers and Lions reporter and writer.
I used some bad words on X last night. some explicit words, apparently.
You were everywhere last night, man. Yeah, look, the Spaces was dope.
That was fun.
That was dope. I got to
fun.
give it up. Definitely tap in. Broder is doing an excellent job with the Tigers coverage, as is a lot of people here at the network as it relates to their opinions on the Tigers. But
I think you're in the minority saying that, according to Twitter.
You know, they might disagree with your opinion, but the work. Hey, look, my dog does work. Guy. That's what we do at the Woo.
Woo.
What up? Listen, chat family.
Yes.
As always, you guys are the most important part of this entire Woo crew thing. So go on ahead and definitely hit that like button to support. Shout out to our brother Flannel Sam, who is on vacation. I asked him in the group chat, hey, bro, do you want that VMix link? He said, nope. Y'all handle that. He wants no part.
I got you guys.
He wants no part. Shout out to KG as well. Hey, bro, all love. Praying for you. Can't wait till you are back. And got to talk about our elite booth we got in here today as well. That dude, Justin, in the sound booth. What up, though, brother?
What up, no? Woo crew holding it down. Shout out to KG. Hey. I got you, my dog. Don't you worry. No sweat. But, yeah, just going to talk some Tigers with Broder. With no KG here, I will be on an iso ball island. So we'll see what's up.
Hey,
I love
that dude, Justin. You usually have more of like an authentic smile on your face. What's going on over there?
What do you mean?
Let me see. I sense something about how you feel that this trade deadline went.
We'll see.
It's polarizing. I don't blame anyone for feeling how they feel, by the way.
I just, I hate being in the market of that, forsaken P word that you decided to use.
Mm-hmm.
That is like shooting heroin up my arm in an attempt to OD me.
Whoa.
You know what?
I just want you to be honest. Like, just when we get to it, I do want to feel how you feel. Like, I want to hear it. So don't hold back just because I might have a different opinion.
No, we're gonna let it fly. You know how it is.
My dog.
I'm excited for a good conversation.
My dog.
And yeah, before we introduce Woodward Sports' MVP, chat, I need y'all on one today.
Please.
I really do. Obviously, we're going to talk Detroit Lions training camp. We're going to talk to the legend Rod Beard. And we're going to talk a little Pistons as well. The Jay and Ivy conversation went crazy, bro. It went crazy. I even, you know what? I'll save it in between breaks to see if we should reveal who I even got some commentary from. But some people close to Jay and Ivy saw it as well. Yeah, we got a lot going on. But this Tiger stuff, man, we got to talk about it.
We're going to put a bow on all the trade talk, just kind of review, recap, grade the trades and the trade deadline as a whole, and then we got to move on. We're still going to be supporting the Tigers and covering them, but it's been a lot the last month and throughout this season. They've had stretches that have been good. I see you, Devin.
I see you. Hey,
we got to shout him out here in a minute. All right, let's do it. Devin the dog. You see these shirts?
Yeah.
I love this.
I love it. I'm gonna get JB, and then we'll shout out Devin.
Let's go.
Hey, shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth. That is JB Smooth, looking smooth too, man. I love the gear.
See, I mean, you gotta love it. How can you not? Shout out to Devin once again. How is it that I hop back on the game and I just missed whatever happened last night. I don't even know what's going on with Broder or what he said during Spaces, but like, what is happening?
Tigers.
Yeah. What just happened? Like, I leave for a night and then
From
everything
Spaces,
just goes off.
Yeah, bro. Listen, from the Spaces to X to the comments to the replies to the engagements on Woodward Sports posts, Broder has made a lot of people upset.
Did you read Dante's super chat?
I see it. You know what, Dante?
Pretty good one.
151-499 super chat. Thank you as always. I'm telling you, chat, I need y'all engaging. Continue to drop your feelings on each one of the deals as well as what you believe this overall picture is. But everyone who thought Scott Harris screwed it yesterday doesn't know baseball at all. He got what he could with expiring contracts.
Dante's a good man. You're a good man.
I'm looking at Justin over there in the booth.
We'll talk about
Listen,
it.
you want to tell
We'll
people?
talk about it, Ante. Don't you
They
worry.
know what we're talking about.
But you gotta
today.
let Broder. You gotta let Broder lead this thing off. He deserves it. So
Yeah, definitely. And they know what we're talking about today. So
Trade deadline.
yeah.
We're going to grade the trades. We're going to talk Lions training camp. We're going to talk to Rob Beard about everything, including the Pistons. And then we're going to finish it off in the second hour with some more Lions and some more Lions training camp. So spend this first 30 minutes talking Tigers, getting our thoughts out, getting our opinions, our feelings, the emotions. It's going to get emotional in here.
Are you here to help the people?
If they want to be helped. If they're, unless they're scared of, like, being optimistic, like finding good in things. It wasn't a perfect trade deadline. There's a lot to be underwhelmed with, but please don't confuse the feeling of being underwhelmed with bad trade or a bad trade deadline. Because if you really dig into it, it was not bad. Was not maybe not an A or A plus, but it was not bad.
That's why I want to hear, especially from you all today as well, JB, if we can get a poll up. Some type of, I don't even know the right question to just gauge, how people are feeling after this trade deadline.
How you
want
feeling?
them to grade it? How they feeling?
How you feeling? Because we'll grade in the next segment. We'll grade them.
Happy?
Just want to get a general sense. You get wild with your response. Whatever you want to put in terms of how they're feeling, put it in there.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm feeling good in my 51 clothing. It is 51 clothing from Devin the dog, who might be driving, not being able to see us right now. We all got your shirts on. Justin wore it yesterday all day.
yeah,
So we
I
got
wore
your
it to a
clothing.
concert last night too.
They're awesome.
Wow.
It's perfect. I love it. We got the Old English B with the tiger and the lion in it.
Love it.
Devin the dog, you're the man. Kikuchi.
I saw Herb Nash. He said, help the Kikuchi, brother.
Yes. We got to revisit.
Hey,
That played a lot into the emotions of the fans.
you know what? This one might play into the emotions of Justin.
Talk to me.
Kiazi, Scott Harris is basically doing the Iser plan. 100.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very similar, close, whatever you want to say. Different because there's cap and there's no cap, but a similar approach of getting the ship right first before you take it into the deep waters.
Yeah, and we've talked about it as well with Scott Harris, with even what the Pistons are doing right now with Trajan Langdon. It's allowing this kind of front office to come in and do their jobs, and sometimes that establishment takes a little bit more time than the patience of the fans. And rightfully so. I can't scold any fan. I can't kind of chide any fan or try and gatekeep any fan because we know what we expect. We know what the teams tell us to expect. We all understand this being here from Detroit. Don't just always make it. Otherwise, it's just a marketing gimmick. When you say, oh, you know what, we're so linked to our teams because of the hard work. No, if it's real, it's real.
Yeah.
Then don't expect us to be patient with where things are.
Bro,
even if you're trying to do it the right way.
You got to X out that. We got to beep out that P word.
That P word it's a dirty word. But I feel it. And that's why I just want to, hey, there are two sides to this thing. And I think that's what's going to make it ultimately rewarding in the end. I really do. Is that the fans are still really passionate about this. They're still expecting excellence. They still deserve a World Series championship. They still feel like they deserve that. They showed up. They showed out. But the team, listen, I want the team, though, to make a commitment to doing this thing the right way. Same with the Pistons. I do. Do we all want it to work as fast and as just kind of succinct as the Lions has? Yeah. Well, of course we do. Of course we do. But that's why I can't wait to hear you break this thing down, because I know aside from each individual deal and what people thought, comparing it to other deals we could receive, you believe that this is overall working into the bigger picture of what Scott Harris is trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. This does paint a clearer picture of the timeline, of the plan, and he does have a plan. So it does peel the curtains back, or peel the sheets back on what they're really trying to do, and I know it's not going to excite everyone in the short term, maybe not even for a year, but there were very strategic moves. So I think for these next 3-4 minutes, I just want to get a general sense of just the day, the trade deadline as a whole. Like, how are you guys feeling? I want to ask you first because I'm looking at you, Justin. And please be honest.
Do you want to call out what those trades were?
Yeah, sure. I will. Because they traded 4 rental players, and they got back 8 prospects. They got back 8 prospects for 4 rentals who weren't going to come back next year anyway. Or you can take a shot at signing in the offseason. I'll get to that a little bit more. But they traded Carson Kelly for 2 prospects, Liam Hicks, Tyler Owens. They traded Andrew Chafin for 2 more prospects to the Rangers. They traded Mark Hanna to the Giants for a right-handed reliever. And then Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers for 2 prospects. And don't forget, one more trade with the Dodgers. So under that Flaherty bucket, there's a third one. They sent cash to the Dodgers for a right-handed pitcher, reliever Ricky Vanasco. We'll break them down individually. But Justin, how you feeling as a whole? Trade deadline, how you feel?
First of all,
emotion.
I want to touch on the Stevie Y thing because it's actually eerily similar to where Stevie Y took the team over, where Al Avila put this team in a talent discrepancy as he traded away his premier players to get rid of their salary, and he didn't retain the A-level prospects that he could have, like the Mets did last year. And you only saw the return of Jake Rogers from Verlander and the names like that. In this terms of this trade deadline, I see the vision, and I'm glad he got 8 prospects back, and I don't want to be picky. But in terms of other deals that the league was getting, like Kikuchi, yes,
because that's the one.
That's the one. It seems like a better deal. Like, just on surface, I looked into the prospects a little bit. I can't say that I am MLB scout level at looking at these kids, but I will say that does look like a more enticing deal. And I think also why the fans are so outraged is Oriole prospect fatigue, because they've been hearing the names for Skubal. Oh, Jackson Holiday, Kobe Mayo, and even for Flaherty, you heard names like Norby that I've seen everyone pop a fat boner off. So
there's that.
I just think that it was decent, but in terms of how this trade deadline was hyped up to be and the potential overhaul of prospects, of A-level prospects in this farm system, is where the Tigers feel like the fans feel like they came up short.
Yeah, Kool-Aid.
I have one quick question, because I believe the hype happened within that kind of 24 hours after that Kikuchi deal, right?
Yeah. Partly my fault, partly our fault, partly all media hyping that up. Yeah, 100%. We deserve some blame.
But where Flaherty was before all of that hype, do you believe that the returns that the Tigers actually got was better than like the previous 48 hours? Because we were wondering, okay, we're hearing Flaherty's name pop up. I wasn't hearing before that Kikuchi deal that there could be much for Flaherty. We were expecting, hey, could he get a haul? And then when we saw those deals go down is when we began to believe, you know what, maybe Flaherty could get us a little bit more than anybody was originally thinking.
Exactly.
The deal overall, take the hype out of it. You are a believer in
I want to hear what JB has to say. We got to get the emotion. We got 1 minute till break. JB, how do you feel about the deadline?
I guess it's just a bit of mixed emotions, because you want to make some deals out there. I know he was trying. I'm just lost at like the direction on where he wants to go. As you said, you traded some star players for a couple rentals for a year, kind of loosen up that salary cap, hoping that what you get during this offseason will help you out as well too. Maybe there might be some big contracts you could bring on for some nice hitters as well too. But at the same time, it's like now we're just kind of stuck in limbo as to what to do next, what to think about next, or how we're gonna move about this next, and you're just kind of lost. So it's like you're kind of up and down. I guess I'm gonna need you today to kind of like walk me off this ledge that I think the Tigers are just on right now.
I can do that.
I'm just lost with this, man.
Fair. Let's get to break and come back and dig into this. Kool-Aid, tell them about Premier Pet.
I will. Hopefully this can cheer some people up, man. JB just sounds so down, but you know what? I can tell you about something that's the best, and that is Premier Pet Supply. They're hands down Michigan's best pet store. They offer you the same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned for over 30 plus years. They carry over 60 brands of food and they have nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper! Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
The Allied Challenge, presented by McLaren, is back August 22nd through the 25th at Warwick Hills. Leave the golf to the pros. Why? Because you don't want to miss the party at hole number 17. $2 birdie beers, concerts, and more. Get your tickets at alliedchallenge.com. Brought to you by Randy Wise Automotive.
And how about this? How would you like $10 of free products from Dispo Dispensary? Screenshot this image with the QR code and bring it into any Dispo location, and you'll get a free $10 to spend in store with the minimum purchase of $25. But go visit Dispo Dispensary today or disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Hole 17. What up, though?
Let's go.
People, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Chat family, I need you guys to go ahead and satisfy that like button. Treat it nice. Treat it right.
Please.
Treat the like button like you like it. Right? Hey, who's going to take over the ad list for KG today?
Not me.
I think Justin should. Go ahead.
Hey, baby. Make sure you caress that like button for the Woo crew. We appreciate you.
Hey! I love the little sign off at the end. I love that. That dude, Justin, man. That dude, Justin.
Patience.
Patience. Detroit Tigers.
Why would you say that?
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, get used to it, everybody.
I want it now.
Patience. Like, they are actually building something, the Tigers. The whole rebuild of the past, the last 10 years, everything we've been waiting for. Yes, it sucks. It blows. It's been a horrible decade. Since Scott Harris has got here, that's where everything restarted over from the beginning. So I get the frustration for the whole thing, but every move since Scott Harris came 22 months ago, not even 2 years, it's been completely different than what we should have expected from Al Avila and Chris Illich before, and ownership and in the front office. Like, they used to draft decent players. They had no developmental structure at all. There's no players. Maybe a couple pitchers here and there. Maybe you get your one hitter occasionally. Really, you didn't. There's no developmental structure. Scott Harris is coming in trying to rebuild this organization. It was just lip service before, years ago, when they said the rebuild is over, blah, 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 blah. When you draft players, you don't develop them, and then you go out and you spend money on shitty free agents like Javi Baez. This is the mess that Scott Harris walked into.
Yeah.
Scott Harris hasn't been perfect. Every move he's made hasn't been perfect. But what he's doing, he's been doing a lot of good things, a lot of really good things. We just don't see it. It's at the single A level. It's at the double A level. He's had to literally start from the bottom. You can't start at the major league level. You have to start at the bottom. There are questions that need to be answered 100%. And at this specific trade deadline, there were some underwhelming moments when you consider the hype. But when I look back on the trade deadline, it's not an A, it's not an A+, but it's a win of a deadline. Like, they just shipped out 4 rentals for 8 prospects, 4 of which are now in the Tigers' top 30. I got crushed for saying patience, that they have a bright future. People, what are you talking about, bright future? 20 of their top 30 prospects are in single or double A right now. They're below double A, not triple A, not all the guys that Avila drafted and they tried to develop in the previous regime. Everything Scott Harris has done is turning into top 20 prospects, top 30 prospects, just below the double A level. 4 of which now from this trade deadline are now in the top 30.
What?
The number 1 prospect moved at this deadline. Thyron Lenzano, the catcher / first baseman from the Dodgers, in the underwhelming Flaherty trade because of what we saw Kikuchi get from the Astros or the Blue Jays get for Kikuchi. If you really step back and look and understand Scott Harris and most major league organizations, they don't follow the prospect. Like they don't base their scouting on Baseball America or the MLB Pipeline Report, which we all do. This is how we kind of bet the thousands of minor leaguers all around the world. That's what we kind of get our bearings from, these lists. Scott Harris doesn't. Dalton Rushing was the Dodgers' top catching prospect. He values Lenzano much better. They see him as a future star to come up with Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal and Jackson Jobe.
So they're setting their window then.
What was that?
Then they're setting a very clear window.
Yes, and that is the frustrating part, and that's what I understand. That window is 2 to 3 years away.
And that's why that P word is
Yes.
such a dirty word. You know what?
That's
Word
what it's
to
showing.
James Edwards. I know part of the Pistons rebuild.
Nobody.
He once famously said that Detroit sports fans don't have the stomach for a rebuild.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I might agree with him, but I don't blame Tigers fans. Like, you want to watch a good product on the major league field. Like, that is
Because
the
they've
goal.
supported.
They have, and they deserve it, but they deserve it now. Yeah, I get all the frustration, but the blind frustration and the hate and the panic platoons and the Scott Harris, Scott Harris deserves to be fired right now and Hinch fired. Like,
Oh, so you mean the Jack Campbell overreaction?
Yeah. And
So
major baseball is so hard to understand the prospects and the development. And when you're in a rebuild, unless you're going to spend, and we'll get to that next, unless you're going to spend, if you want to do it the right way, it takes time because you got to fortify. You got to fortify your minor league system, which this was a huge step towards that.
But when we were telling people, you know what, this team is going to be up and down, it's going to be a roller coaster, but expect them to be hovering around, plus or minus 5 games of 500. We caught a lot of slack. A lot of people saying, no, they're not going to really be like that. But here they are like that, and who knew? This Tigers team knew. They have a clear eye and a discernment for the talent that they have and how it all fits to their grand scheme of how Scott Harris sees the talent and how A.J. Hinch manages the talent. But what do you say to people who believe that the Tigers have done this in the past? They've traded, rentals, they've traded good players, they've brought in prospects, they've heard these prospects are now part of our top 10, top 20, top 30, and then they believe this. After 10 years of that, it'll never end. We're on a hamster wheel. What separates Scott Harris from the previous attempts at this?
His elite prospect identification, talent identification at the prospect level, from 17-year-olds to 23-year-olds. He's still got something to prove at the major league level. And once we stop talking about the prospects, we'll get to that. Yes, there are question marks, but he's shown us he can identify prospects. And that's what got him promoted from the Cubs, with the Cubs before. Then he got a job as a GM out in San Francisco. And then he has a really strong reputation around the league in terms of his talent identification. And we see it in his draft picks and the guys he's gotten from the Michael Lorenzen trade, the guy he got from the Joe Jimenez trade, Justin Henry Malloy. He can identify prospects. That's I'm not worried about. And he's implementing a developmental system led by Chris Fetter, Robin Lund, Juan Nieves, led by Michael Bedard and the pitching group at the major league level. We're not seeing the results at the major league level yet, but they've reshaped it all from single A up to triple A, and it just takes time for 18-year-olds to get up there. He's drafting high school players. He's drafting developmental products with high ceilings. Some of them are going to hit, some of them are going to be bust, but he's making the right moves. Choose this.
Something I want to hear about is
that's next, Jawal.
Jawal,
that's next.
The Jack Flaherty rumors came out on Monday that he was about to be dealt to the Yankees, and he had some injury concerns. Do you think that affected us getting a Kikuchi-esque package because of his injury concerns, or do you think that this is kind of the going rate for him?
Same wavelengths. My gosh, I was about to ask that.
Maybe we don't know. None of us know what the conversations were being had, but I'm pretty confident those conversations with New York were revolving around Chase Hampton, their AAA pitcher. But the Kikuchi trade, while that did sort of start the hype, start the market, that was an outrageous trade. Like the Astros gave up a lot for him. When we're talking about their number 9, and take this with a grain of salt, their number 9 ranked prospect, number 13 and a third. Like,
I mean, they are ranked 29th in the MLB pipeline for their prospect system. The Astros.
Oh, right. So they're not. Lenzano is better than, was it Bloss, the pitcher, who's been pitching in the big leagues for the Astros. He came up, I think, from Double-A. He's only in the big leagues because the Astros have had injuries. But he is a big, like, on the surface, it looks like a loss. It looks like the Astros completely, I don't know, crapped the bed and gave up way too much to the Blue Jays when you talk about the prospect rankings. But if you really dig deep into the potential of these prospects, the Tigers got a better deal. And definitely in Scott Harris's eyes, and he talked about that in his press conference after. There were some things he weaseled around, but to them, it was by far a better. They wanted Lenzano over Russian. They wanted Lenzano over some other guys' prospects. So to them, this is a win, especially when you consider the reliever they got for cash. We're talking about 3 prospects for Jack Flaherty, 2 of which are now in your top 30. So if you take the Kikuchi trade aside, if you stop thinking about the value of what that looks like now, this is still a win of a trade. It maybe isn't an A+ in our eyes, but we'll get to the grade. It's in the B range. It's in the B- to B+, in my opinion. It feels different because it came down to the last second, because we heard about the Kikuchi trade. And if I see one more person compare this to Trevor Rogers with the Orioles, the Marlins trade for the Orioles, they got Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers, and I keep seeing, the market for Kikuchi. The Orioles gave up all this for Trevor Rogers. Rogers and Flaherty are in completely different buckets. Rogers is a lefty with 2 more years of control. That's a completely different market when you're talking about giving up top prospects. Yep. And no, just because he's bad or isn't as good as Flaherty or Skubal doesn't mean that means Flaherty should command more at a deadline. You're getting prospects.
Especially when you talk about, even if you want to lock up Flaherty, you still have to think about the back issues and the injections. In terms of his long-term ability to produce for you.
Scared the Yankees off.
That was some of the stuff that I was hearing too. So it's like, with those things in perspective and in mind, I believe that largely we're going to hear the vocal minority. Mm-hmm. But our chat family, 19% of them say that they believe it was bad moves. 46%, 47%, they say back to rebuilding. 35% say good moves. I wonder what back to rebuilding means, because I think back to rebuilding and good moves can still be good things.
Yeah,
they can still. So if you selected back to rebuilding, I am interested and curious to know, what do you mean by that? Is it something more positive, or is it something more negative? Because if you have a clear sight, a clear path, and your window can lead me to winning, or at least the roster that you believe will win within 2 to 3 years, and it's a new regime, then sometimes you have to give that, to be fair, the time to take root.
Yeah, and I'll almost I'm not push back on JB, but the phrase back to rebuilding, I mean, if we're really looking, I think it's the same rebuild since Scott Harris got here, is moved farther along. So I don't think they took a step backwards. I just think they defined that the step forwards is a slower step than what people want. What's up?
I also want to point out that Alavila. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Think about it.
I was going to say, so effectively, this feels like Tobias Harris with Detroit Pistons fans almost. And I know it's different things because Tobias Harris is supposed to be a plus player and the Tigers are selling, but in terms of the expectation, people went into, hearing all this cap space, hearing that maybe they kick the tires on some premier players, and they get Tobias Harris, who's it's still a win for me in the free agency.
Yeah.
But it's not that, man, this is what I thought we were going to go out there and get. That's kind of what I'm sensing here with some Tigers fans that are at least being more vocal about it on socials, in chats, and in forums. And
It's
Let's
a win, but not an X factor that you wanted.
Say it one more time.
I said it was a win, but not the X factor that you truly wanted to help this team get better.
Yes. And let's dig into that because that plays into the two directions, the two things that they have moving forward. Like they now have two directions or two things that they have to do with Tarek Skubal still on the
I
roster.
think there's just one big thing that didn't happen at their deadline, and I think that has to weigh into how you grade this deadline.
Yes, and also weigh into how much longer you should actually hold on to that frustration because it might just be a couple months. When we come back, let's talk about what that Tarek Skubal lack of move means for this organization because that's a statement in itself.
Man,
let's do it.
Let's rock.
Tell them about we're doing all shows.
I was talking about all the shows.
Les Stanford.
Les Stanford. I'll tell you about Les Stanford because what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years.
Tell me about it.
You expand, you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did when they added Les Stanford Buick GMC. They got the same great service that their customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile Road. Check them out in Dearborn. Also, visit LesStanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, guys, together. Let's drive.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit, and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. And guess what? All Planet Fitness memberships, they include fitness training at no additional cost. And if you want all the perks, the Hydra massage bed, the massage chairs, the tanning salon, get the PF Black Card for a couple bucks more. You get access to over 2,500 PFs worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. Check them out for more information or to join today. Head to Planet Fitness or www.planetfitness.com.
Oh, man. What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward, man. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off today with the Woo Crew. Cool. Shout out to our brother Flannel Sam and our brother KG as well. I'm praying that all is well, KG and Flannel Sam, hoping that you are enjoying. I'm glad that you actually denied that VMix link, but I know when you get back in, you're going to have a lot to say about this. And we got that dude Justin in the sound booth, Woodward Sports MVP, JB Smooth in the TD booth, our credentialed Tigers Online reporter and writer, that is Matt Broder, and it's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer. And this is just funny. Weezy D313, I've seen you throughout the chat, man. My man said I had to sacrifice the Wings, Pistons, and Tigers for Lions' success.
We'll take that.
We waited a long time for Lions' success.
I wouldn't trade last Lions season for anything, or what's happening now in this next season for anything.
Especially if you're a Go Blue fan. So.
Yeah, go
What
Blue.
a year in football.
Yeah.
That's right.
One of the best years of football of my life.
Hey,
Two Lions playoff
amazing.
wins and a national title game, and I was at all three of them. So
wow, flex then. But you said something pretty important during the break. You remembered that train of thought?
Yes, I did. So the difference between Scott Harris and where I guess my bleak of hope is from is the timeline matches with Clark and McGonigal, which seems to be what he is sticking to. And what I love seeing is unlike Al Avila, he traded his rentals for prospects.
Yes.
Al Avila consistently held on to his rentals for no apparent reason and didn't get anything back for him, which caused the talent discrepancy that you saw in our minor league system. So I like to see that we're loading up on prospects to be ready to compete, because hopefully one day we're in the Orioles position where we're competing for a World Series with a top minor league system where we have the freedom to go after any player we want to go after because we can offer them the prospect haul that the Orioles can offer to any team.
Yes. And at this trade deadline, they did make their moves. They traded 4 rentals, got back 8 prospects, 4 of which are in the top 30. The future is bright. Also, one of those top 30 is the AAA shortstop that might be up in the bigs this year. Think about that. So now that they have the move that didn't happen, the Tarek Skubal move, that apparently wasn't even close, which is fine to hear. I sort of don't understand why the Orioles wouldn't want to get in that more. But like we said all along, it's Orioles and Jackson Holiday or bust. We're happy to bring Skubal back, but not trading him. That signals 2 things. What they need to do now, they need to spend this offseason immediately to build around him. He's not going to sign a contract this offseason. He's not going to sign an extension unless you give him something ungodly. But he's not going to sign an extension. So you got him for 2 more years until he hits free agency. You build around him now while the minor league team is developing, while the McGonigals and Clarks, the Linzanos, while all these guys are coming up, you still have to field the major league team and go for it at the major league level. Sneak into the playoffs. Go for a World Series, even with rentals or 1 and 2 year deals. But you have to build around Skubal. You have to maximize his time here. There's no excuse if they have another offseason like they did this past offseason where it's – and I actually really like Mark Canha, but the level of veteran they bring in has to be raised up a notch and get 2 or 3 of them. You got to put guys around Colt Keith and Riley Green. Hopefully, Kerry Carpenter's healthy. Dingler, you know what I'm saying.
You can't go another offseason where you're going into the season realizing, they left some bats out there that they could have had.
Yeah,
and they didn't have to break the bank for some of the bats that could have contributed positively to this lineup.
Yeah,
that's the thing that kind of concerns me about last offseason. But I understand with Scott Harris being here and wanting to assess. And one of the things that Flandel brings up a lot is the fact that we were hoping to depend on some of these young guys, but instead we got Torque down in the minors right now, absolutely tearing it up. But what is it in some games? What is that doing for the Tigers? Because when he's here, he can't put it together, and that to me, I believe is the biggest blow to the Tigers rebuild right now. But it also to me underlays and shows exactly why Scott Harris is kind of moving at the approach that he is right now.
Yeah.
So I get it.
But because they didn't trade Skubal, they can't just mortgage everything for these young guys. You have to compete at the major league level. So they have to do it not with guys that are going to be part of the core, like not bringing in free agents that are going to be part of the core in 2 years. It's bringing in those guys for the Keiths and the Riley Greens and whoever you have at the major league level for the next 2 years until the McGonigals and Clarks and Hao-Yu Lee and Jackson Jobs are truly ready in 1, 2, 3 years. Or, and this is the last 4 months that we'll ever be talking about a Tarek Skubal trade, or your last chance to consider a trade is in the offseason at the winter meetings where you don't have just contenders fighting for Skubal and prospects in return. We're talking major league talent. You're looking to get back multiple proven major league bats, pitchers. You get a haul at the major league level. The value's a little bit less because in the short term, there's not like a World Series right in front of some team, but you can get major league talent. So those are the 2 routes you have. You build around Skubal immediately. This offseason, this winter, spend significantly. Or you talk trade again at the winter meeting. And this is the last winter that you can consider trading Tarek Skubal. His value is just not going to be what it was. You might as well keep him. And the third thing that plays into all this, you have to cut Javi Baez, DFA him, after the season.
Please.
I mean this from like a
in the most
real
respectful
strategic business. Yes,
yeah.
You have to. Not even baseball. You have to cut it. You can't keep Tarek Skubal and keep Javi Baez. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit anything that they do. Neil says a lot. They're not a serious organization. If you're trying to go for a World Series, with Baez as your starting shortstop to start the season in 2025. If you're keeping Skubal, that's what you have to think. Even if it's not going to be with the Clarks and McGonagalls, you got to put people around him and Riley Green and Colt Keith to go for a World Series in the next 2 years. Yeah. To at least put a competitive team to get to the playoffs, and you can't have Javi Baez on that team. That's where the shortstop they just acquired from Los Angeles, Trey Sweeney, comes into play because he's a better shortstop than we have at the AAA level right now. He'll come in and, unless they sign someone, he'll be your starting shortstop likely in 2025, if not sooner this year.
Going into free agency this year, I know next year it's probably not a playoff season for the Tigers. I'm willing to admit that right now. But I just hope that they spend money so we don't run into another Torque situation where he doesn't have anyone covering him up in the lineup, where you see mental regression, you see them slumping. Like, the last thing I want to see next year is Colt Keith and Riley Green slumping and having bad years. That is a nail in the coffin on this rebuild and will extend the amount of time it takes for this rebuild immensely.
And that might happen. They're still young players. They might struggle. That's why you need to put enough around them to protect them in the lineup, so it's not any pitcher can just pitch Colt Keith sliders away or pick apart the strikes down, whether it's Keith or Riley Green. You got to put real dudes around them.
You see what's happening with Jazz Chisholm in New York. He finally has a little bit of help around him, and now he's popping. Shout out Flannel.
Seriously. But he had nothing in Miami.
No.
He's got Soto and Judge and Stanton in New York. Being protected in a lineup is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, that is for real.
Yeah.
You had something you want to say?
You know what? I'm looking at the chat right now. Wheezy D313. He said it's not Javi's fault. He's surrounded by bums with no contact power, plate discipline, or swag.
It is Javi's fault. No, it's Javi's
Denver
fault.
Blair, Javi is a bum. It's pretty polarizing between those two comments. But
I see two comments from Stephen Baffey and Cody Engel. They're great comments. I'll start with Stephen Baffey actually real quick. Given the player Skubal is it worth giving him a long-term deal? Yes. He's not going to accept it for 2 years. But in 2 years, he's going to go to market. I mean, we're starting the conversation at Garrett Cole, 9 years, $324 million, which happened 4 years ago, by the way. So what we're really talking is like an 8-year, $400 million deal. I wouldn't pay that to any pitcher, but that's what he's going to command. You might, if you want any chance to give him an extension, you're probably offering up, a 6-year deal right now for $45 million a year, make him the highest paid pitcher in the league, give him another free agency at age 33. If I were Tarek Skubal, I'd accept that, but his agent is in his ear saying, no, we're waiting until 2026. Sorry.
Skubal, with his contract extension, he's going to command way more than Garrett Cole. He is 5 years younger than Cole when he signed that deal. He's got a longer prime, and he's coming off the true best season of his career. Like, that does all play a factor. That contract is going to be ridiculously big. And you better be ready to win a World Series when you pay up, because if you do, it's going to be an absolute waste.
Perfect. And Cody Engel said, if we didn't spend this offseason, what makes you think they will spend this offseason? You're exactly right. And that's where the frustration should be, or the skepticism, I should say, because they have to. They have to do it this offseason. In the previous offseason, I got to go. Yes, they should have at least gone and gotten one bat.
One or two bat.
I got to eat that. I didn't think it was as necessary. I expected more out of Torque. I expected Kerry Carpenter to be healthy. But they should have added one.
But that's the hindsight of it all. That's the thing. Like, going into the season, and I get if other people are giving up on Torque and whatnot, they should have had those bats already in this organization, and they just regressed. Now that you know that, you can give them a pass if you want. There's a pass to be given for not spending last year if you want to truly assess, because Scott Harris was fresh. He was, 6-8 months into the job. This offseason, though, you have to go buy bats. If you don't right now, as Flannel loves to say, that is malfeasance.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and buy the bats. You can't sit on this anymore. You realize that if you're just assessing, you realistically missed out on playoffs because you don't have one or two bats in that lineup right now.
Yeah. And if you weren't going to, why didn't you trade Skubal for any package that didn't include Jackson Holly just to get something for him? Right now, we're going to get to enjoy him once every 5 days, and I'm jacked up about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to really make a clear attempt to go for it with him on your roster before you risk losing him in free agency, that's malfeasance. That's not you have to. That's where the pressure from the fans needs to be put on ownership this offseason. Not Scott Harris for being the janitor and cleaning up the shit show of a mess that was this organization for the last 10 years. You have every reason to be frustrated. I don't want to take any jab at anyone who's frustrated, but I want those people who are frustrated not to take it out on Scott Harris, who's not only doing the best he can, but I think he's doing a damn good job. And he talked about in his Have a Seat podcast interview about a month ago with Dan Dickerson and Jason Benetti, he talked about their process of making Detroit a baseball team destination. It was centered around pitching, and it was centered around how they were able to convince Michael Lorenzen to come for a year, get better, get in our system. They're doing something new in terms of pitching development that not many teams around the league are doing, and they need pitchers to come in and have an open mind, try new things, try new pitch shapes and new philosophies about pitch sequencing and mechanics, everything that Chris Fetter, Robin Lund, and Juan Nieves can put into motion from single A up to the majors. He's got to start, as bad as the Tigers were, you have to start by convincing some of those dudes to give the Tigers a shot, to build that reputation, because they didn't have the reputation before Lorenzen. That's one incredible example. He was an all-star, best first half of his career. I think it was the best season of his career. That was a hard sell he talked about. It got a little bit easier with Jack Flaherty this offseason, but they got him. They got him there. And in those conversations, the goal, they're open about this. Hey, we're going to come in. We want to help you. We want to make you better. And we want to get you good enough so that we can shop you at the deadline or earn you a contract. If you're not there yet at the deadline, earn you a real contract in the offseason after your 1 year with us. They now have two really serious success stories. Yeah. Like Jack Flaherty is one of the best pitchers in baseball this year after 5 years of being nothing. What they're doing, it's a long-term approach. It's frustrating to be that patient, but they're doing things different. And some of these moves, they've been making, a lot of them at the single A level, double A level, are really paying off. We got Rod Beard coming on, so let's go talk about it all, I think, with Rod, as well as the Pistons. And maybe we revisit this on the second half of the show. I also want to talk Lions training camp, but let's not keep Mr. Rod Beard waiting. Let's take a quick break. Kool-Aid, tell me about all the shows coming up.
I will. And thank you guys for being here with us and supporting Wake Up Woodward every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Smash that like button, y'all, to support the Woo Crew. It goes a long way. Sharing that stream does as well. I'm hoping you're doing it with the entire Woodward Sports Network. Starting right after our show, Big D Energy, from 11 to 1, you got 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty alongside his co-host, the Golden Voice, Neil Rule. After that, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 to 4. Lovable radio legend Ty Maswell alongside University of Michigan legend and former NFL wide receiver Braylon Edwards and Detroit media king Fox 2 Ryan Ermanni. Then end the day with the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7 p.m. The big fellas spin more racks and speak easy alongside the elite booth, Nick Koloff, Chris Platty. I know Caleb, Joel, and others are contributing as well. They're bringing you the biggest interviews, breakdowns, and laughs. That's the Woodward Heavyweights. Thank you guys for making Woodward Sports your #1 digital sports outlet. We appreciate you.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
The Great American Chevy Week is back and bigger than ever at Feldman Chevrolet. Choose from the largest inventory of award-winning Chevys, all priced to move for the biggest week of the year. Get this 2024 Silverado for only $213 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $249 a month. Feldman takes the Great American Chevy Week to another level. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, you dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues? Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham, they'll have your back during the difficult time. They got over 10 years of experience on the matter. They offer their clients 24/7 availability. So scan the QR code on the screen above my head or call 248-971-0476. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. And KDK Law, they'll pay your filing fee. Really, give them a call. KDK Law, they've got your back.
Don't let her do you wrong.
Don't let her, man. Don't let her. Yo, listen, KDK Law has your back. Woodward Sports got your back. You already know Waco Woodward has your back. Shout out to you guys for having ours by smashing the like button. And Rod Beard has our back as well every week. The sports editor-in-chief from the Detroit News of the Detroit Sports, giving us his look on Detroit sports. And I was wondering, the people want Lions talk. I was thinking, man, I should have hit Broder up about this during the break.
Oh, yeah?
Should we do the Pistons segment now so we can go
hell yeah.
the second segment,
heck yeah.
talk some Tigers, but then get in the lines with Rod and let that take us out to the end?
You're smart. Yeah, yes. Woodward
All
Pistons segment incoming. You set it up.
Yeah.
So you can throw it up on the Woodward Pistons. Let's start there. I love it.
Yeah, we'll do that
We can
because it
talk
is Woodward
enough.
Pistons Wednesday. This is the official day that we drop the podcast with Rod Beard, where we get his thoughts as well as my own and the rest of the cast and the crew. And we'll answer whatever questions we can from you all as well. And then we'll have Lions uninterrupted for the end of the show rather than having Rod Beard talk a little Lions, then Pistons, and then back to Lions. So let us cook up. Hey, I need that drum roll going because it is our Woodward Pistons segment for the legend. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend that is Detroit News, Rod Beard. Hey, as always, it is good to see you. Are we hearing sound?
Audio working. Audio.
Let's go! I'm fired up.
Let's go.
I'm fired up. Boy, let's rock. Got the Michigan shirt on and everything, looking crispy. Hey, look at that. We're just supporting Michigan, Go Blue, and Detroit on the same shirt.
How you doing,
Look
Rod?
at you, Rod.
Gentlemen.
Let's go.
You on the first try. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. And you know what, Rod? We're talking Pistons first. And you already know we kick things off with Rod's thoughts.
I got nothing. I think we have hit everything.
Yep.
I'll give you an Olympics thought that France almost lost to Japan, and that was an exciting end to that game. By all rights, France should have lost that. Japan gave up a 4-point play in the last couple of seconds. But the Olympics are not quite as fun to watch because everybody doesn't have a stacked team. Obviously, the U.S. does. It'll be good to see some things. But yeah, it's something to watch. It's basketball to watch right now.
Yeah, it is. And in the Olympics, it's always a good watch. It's interesting to see this team, especially with like guys like LeBron James, what KD did in that first half, going 8 of 8 in that other game. It's like, yo, these guys are actually coming out. And I think beyond just competing with the other Olympic teams, I think they're competing with each other as well. The greatest basketball players on the face of this earth, I know they're teammates, but that competitive edge to go out there and try and put forth your best while you're playing with these guys, I'm sure that fire is underneath them.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of team do you have where you don't play all-stars? You don't play all
Tatum, man.
Jason Tatum's just going to say, what kind of squad do you have where that's the case? But, I mean, to see Book kind of cook into is also very good. This is a team that could be fun to watch, but I just want to see if they can get to that level, stay at that level that they're supposed to. And they ran Serbia off the floor, so that was good to see also.
And Rod, is it reasonable to hope, or dare I say expect, Cade Cunningham to be on this team in 4 years?
I would say expect is a little much, but hope, yeah. I think there's a really good chance that he could be. He's got to have a couple more solid seasons, and you probably need an all-star selection or two to look at this and say, yeah, you're going to be there. You would assume Anthony Edwards. You would assume Book might be back. Tatum, Brown. I mean, there's a lot of guys who can be right there for it. Cade, I think it can take that big jump starting this year with an all-star selection.
And in 4 years, could we see Jalen Duren and Angel Reese at the Olympics together?
Did you hear the news?
You don't have to answer that,
I'm gonna leave that to Woodward TMZ Pistons.
See, that's why he's a legend. That is a smart man up there on screen. We'll avoid that.
Yeah, and before I get to some questions, I know that there's a little bit of news as well at the Detroit News and their Detroit Pistons department. I was gonna give you an opportunity to talk about it, definitely.
No, we hired a new Pistons beat writer. His name is Cody Davis. He'll be coming in from Houston. He covered the Rockets and also the Texans for Sports Illustrated there. And actually today is his first day. So he'll get some administrative stuff out of the way. And over the next couple of weeks, he'll start chiming in and writing and getting up to speed on everything. But we're very, very excited about that. And in addition to Nolan Bianchi is our new Lions beat writer. So we are clearing the decks and bringing in some new guys.
To go from Justin Rogers to Nolan Bianchi, that is awesome.
That is awesome.
Nolan's a great writer, a good dude. I'm excited to have him on your beat.
That's awesome.
And
welcome, Cody.
Real quick, because I don't want to take up Pistons time with Lion stuff. Nolan has really worked his way up. And Nolan was kind of a freelance writer for us. He took the calls for high school stories. He's really worked his way up to be able to give him this opportunity. And for him to earn it, not even giving him an opportunity, for him to earn the opportunity is just awesome to see, because that's the same sort of path that I took when I got started in writing. So, but Cody Davis, we'll get him on the podcast also when he's up to speed on things.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Shout out to you, Cody. Welcome. Hey, can't wait to meet. It's gonna be awesome. But let's get into a little bit of Detroit Pistons talk. Listen, the Jaden Ivey discourse over the last week absolutely blew up. Not just on the Woodward Pistons channel, but on Woodward Sports as well, out of nowhere. And I've heard feedback from people even closer to Jaden Ivey camp as well. And they're like, look, don't give up on our boy. He's working. He's working his tail off. And I do believe that this new environment is going to be one that is more catering to the Detroit Pistons young core. Not just the coaching staff that they've brought in, as well as the vets that they have here too. And it's cool to hear just kind of being close to the situation that Tobias Harris is not just here to kind of go to pasture. He still has some fire left, and he actually wants to put on here for people that he believes deserve it. Tobias Harris has some really interesting comments to say, as well as what he put out there on social media as it relates to how he feels about Detroit and all of the support they gave him when he was here and even after he left as well. And so my question is this, because I know a lot of people, they wanted, including us, for them to go out there and secure a more premium score or whatnot. But have the Pistons done enough right now for this Detroit Pistons team? Because I don't know where to place them. I don't know. Like, they've made some decent moves. And when you just kind of look at this thing in a vacuum, it looks like they're definitely going to be better than a 14-win team. But have they done enough? And what they've done right now, where exactly is this placing them? They're over-under? Seen it from 24.5 to 26.5.
Yeah, the enough is enough for what are you expecting? Are you expecting 30 wins? No, I don't know if they've done enough for 30 wins. Have they done enough to be respectable and to be a good watch just about every night? Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think the adding Tobias added another scorer who may not be your 1A scorer, but he's a really good scorer. He can do things on the court for you to complement what Cade is doing. To go and get Malik Beasley is also a good add. To get Tim Hardaway Jr. adds another veteran presence and a scorer, a proven scorer, a guy who can come in and start if you need him to. So as we've said over the past few weeks, it's not about expectation on these young guys. You don't need Ron Holland to come in and start. Right? And he's not even in that conversation the way that we were talking about Asar last year and Ivy and Duran, that these guys have to come in and start immediately. I think you can finally kind of take a breather and look at the depth of this team and say, where are the questions there? What does our bench look like? Which we haven't been able to do for.
You know what, Rod? That right there, I think, speaks to one of the biggest differences. When we're looking for improvements right away, a lot of times we're looking for the win total to go up right now. But the fact that we know our top 5 pick, which we've had a lot of those during this kind of 3 or 4 year run, is going to enter this team and could potentially be at the end of the depth chart, already speaks to the level of talent they have and where our young guys that were here previously, where they are and where they could be moving forward if they take that jump forward. It does make me a little bit more comfortable with Trajan Langdon. We talked about, is he going to move at the speed or the pace of what the fans want? Because they've been waiting for a very long time. Or does he get the opportunity to come in, and we've talked about this with Scott Harris as well, to establish his way and do this thing the right way, even if it takes a little bit more time than the fans have, and this is the dirty word, patience for. But in terms of knowing that Ron Holland and Bobby Klintman are entering the organization where they've had the most depth, the most reliable depth, players that play, players that are not going to get injured, vets that are going to be on the court, and not just be kind of motivation from the bench, clapping and waving a towel or being practice warriors, but actually going out there and being the guys that can, I can give you 20 any night. Those are the guys that are here on the roster right now. It might not be like we said, the Zach LaVine type scorers, but I think in terms of the balance and in terms of the leadership that we're looking for, I think that they fit in right now. But I left it kind of open-ended, that question as it relates to have they done enough, because there's multiple ways you could take that. One of those ways being as well, free agency. Via Keith Smith, at Keith Smith, NBA Keith Smith, he said the best available free agents left, point guard. And we have what some people seem to believe, a black hole at the backup point guard spot. Markelle Fultz, one of our old friend Dennis Smith Jr.
Hey.
Those are the top two backup point guards that he has on the market. Luke Kennard is still out there. Lonnie Walker, Lenny Shamet, Fournier is still out there from the shooting guard position, as well as small forward, restricted free agent, Isaac Okoro, Gordon Hayward, and so on. I don't know if the power forward or the center options really move the needle. You got Biombo there. But is there something else out there from the free agent perspective that you think, you know what, the Pistons should kick? They should kick the curb on this thing. They should kick the tires and test this thing out.
Not really. Not of the names that you mentioned. Tyus Jones was the one. He ended up going to Phoenix. That I said, well, if they got that, that might be the big addition that they need to shore up that position. But it's still very Marcus Sasser. I didn't like his summer league performance overall, but there's more growth that they can do at a couple of other positions. And listen, when we talked about free agency, or not even free agency as much as trades and adding to this team, all of the things that we kind of threw out there, the Zach LaVine, the Brandon Ingram, the Jeremy Grants, I think it's notable to say that none of those guys have moved anywhere else. So if we were out here big fish hunting and looking for big names, it's not that they ended up going to somewhere else and they didn't want to come to Detroit. I think in most of those cases, it's Detroit didn't want to make that type of move. And they wanted to kind of creep slowly and kind of move in a certain kind of way. And Trajan Langdon is doing that. So of the other free agents that are out there and the other targets that we've talked about that are out there, I don't think there's anything else that they're going to do that's kind of on that radar. And we may just be looking at the roster as is going into training camp.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to be able to break that down, because people can feel one way or the other. We're not going to control how people feel, but in terms of being able to assess what the Detroit Pistons did this offseason, they spent the money, and I think that they spent it well. Beasley, Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, locking up Cade Cunningham. That is a heck of an offseason if you're the Detroit Pistons. And it gives you a foundation to be able to build on going forward, a real solid one. The previous foundation was young talent. I don't know how solid that was. This current foundation, though, is a mix of vets who have played in big positions like Tobias Harris, Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr., who was just the third leading scorer on a team that was playing in the finals. So it's like, Beasley started 79 games next to Giannis in the Bucks lineup. These are the guys that are now in this Detroit Pistons organization, and I do believe in Trajan. It's more of this kind of this methodical presence that he has to him, and the ways that he's operating, and the people that he's brought in around him. They've already made big impacts. And throughout all of that, the Pistons still have about $11 million in cap space. They still have their room exception as well that they can utilize. So if they want to be able to make any more improvements to this team, they still have some assets at their disposal. And they didn't have to part with any of their young players just yet. They still have the opportunity to either build up their value so that, like we always say, you want them to be as valuable on your roster and how you see them in your eyes as they would be in a trade, and not how, as Detroit fans, we've done in the past, where we will hype up our guys a little more than they should be, like Rodney Stuckey's of the world. I want to see this organization, now that they got the right, what I believe to be development kind of personnel in this organization around these young guys, really put this young guys, Jaden Ivey's, your Jalen Duren's, your Sar Thompson's, your Cade Cunningham's even. I know we look at him differently with that max contract, but he's still a young player that needs to be surrounded by good players as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. I think that that's the biggest question facing the Pistons right now, is how are you going to handle these young players? I don't have questions about Beasley, Tobias Harris, or even Tim Hardaway Jr. I know what they're going to do. But what are the Pistons going to do right now? How does it look moving forward supporting this young group that could realistically drive what this team is over the next decade.
Right, and I think the key is they didn't go out and have bad contracts. There's no bad contract that's on this roster. I mean, the biggest one obviously is Cade, and then you got Tobias, and then some other ones that are kind of fringy. But you didn't break the bank. You didn't commit yourself to somebody that you're not sure about, and you just say, "Oh, we got to ride this out and see what happens." Tobias is movable if something happens there. Tim Hardaway's movable. All of these guys are like one-year contract deals for Beasley and Hardaway. So you don't have to go in a certain direction. Cade is the only one that's really extended long-term, and you'll figure out what you got to do with Duran and Ivy and those guys coming up. But you are in a good financial position in addition to everything else, that you can be flexible this year at the deadline if you feel like you need to add something, or if you need to be a seller, you can bring in some more picks or some other capital somewhere in there too. So I think they've done a good job of managing this. And all the other stuff that we said, if you're going to get Ingram, you got to pay him. If you're going to get Levine, you would have to pay him. Jeremy Grant, you're taking on a bigger contract too. They did none of those things. So on one hand, you would feel better, and I would feel like, hey, they really made a splash. But at the same time, you feel like this team, you'll see where they are when you start the season, and you still have some flexibility at the deadline if you want to go that route.
Hey, that's awesome. Thank you, Rod, as always. The Pistons talk, breaking things down. I kind of given an assessment of where the Detroit Pistons are right now. Obviously, you got training camp well into the future, and then the preseason and the start of the season. So I can't wait till things get going, because I do believe they've made some interesting moves. But we got to get the people into this Lions talk. So we got Rob here for one more second, which is awesome as this Lions talk begins. Training camp, y'all. Hey, let's rock. But I got to tell you about something else that's awesome as well. It's when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That is Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. All you got to do is stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented hairstylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime. It's open 7 days a week. Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions that are specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. So you can call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed, because it is technology that is backed by people. In your safety and security, it deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. All you have to do is call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT. You know what? Hey, I love it, man. Paying the homage to the legend, Rod Beard. Let's bring Rod Beard back on. It is now our kind of Around Detroit Sports segment with the Detroit News, the sports editor-in-chief, Rod Beard. And obviously, we got to kind of get your quick assessment on the Tigers at the trade deadline. Obviously, the big fish was Jack Flaherty. In that trade, and there are so many polarizing.
It's all over the place.
All over the place, man. Just your assessment on Tigers at the trade deadline, including the Flaherty trade.
No, I think they did what they had to do. I mean, you trade Canna for some prospects. You get whatever you can for Flaherty, because you probably weren't going to be able to re-sign him, and you just get a compensatory pick there. They decided to get some actual prospects for him, and so I like what they did from the standpoint of you got to get something, and you weren't going to do it this year. And even if you were, you're grappling at a wild card pick. Is it really worth it when you've got bigger contract things to fry there? Yeah, let's just get the picks for it, or the prospects for it. So I think that was solid for them to do.
Rod, what would you say to fans who reasonably feel like this rebuild has been going on for forever, and this trade deadline does kind of signal, all right, we are building through the youth, like it's going to be another 2 years. How would you actually, what would you say before I put words in your mouth about patience? That's a word they don't want to hear, but patience.
No, fans never want to hear patience. Fans want to win now. And I get it. It's prospects and prospects and prospects. You never know if those things are going to pan out. And so it's just the hope springs eternal, and we'll try it again next year. And people thought this year might have been the year that they could do something with it. But if you're 7.5 games out of the wild card, what are we doing? Like, that's not. There are too many teams you have to leapfrog in order to get there and make that even a reality. And teams that are playing well, and we've spoken time and time again about it. The little streaks where they've had where they won 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 8 or whatever, give us that at the beginning of the year, and you can signal and say, hey, maybe there's something else that's there. But when you take an honest assessment to say that there's 7.5 out of the wild card, not even a chasing the division title, that's a lot. And so you're just a middle of the pack American League team, and it's not really worth it to try to chase it and to keep Flaherty and say, we're going to make a run here at the end of the year. Well, with what bats? Like, how is that going to happen? The impatience and the frustration has to be measured with some reality within it too, that if they were over 500, 2 or 3 games over 500, maybe. But at the same time, no. 2 or 3 games over 500 would put them probably 3 games out of the wild card.
Yeah.
So maybe at that point, but no, not 7.5. That's just not going to do it.
Yeah. Let's pivot over to the gridiron, because the Lions are down in Allen Park with the pads on, hitting. The defense is showing out. But I want to ask you real quick first, since you've covered Detroit sports through the time he's been a Lion. That's Taylor Decker, who was drafted 9 years ago. He gets his extension. What does that say to you about this team and this organization? Is that just another notch in the, man, they're doing things right?
Right. You want to have guys who stick around for their entire career, and guys who are kind of the heart and soul of what you're trying to do. And Decker's one of those guys. So they had already locked up their key guys, their St. Browns and their Goffs, and Sewell, but you want to make sure that you're getting the rest of those guys. Your offensive line has to be a solid piece of what you're trying to do if you're going to run the ball, if you're going to keep Goff protected. So it's not, we're going to piece this together with randos. They really did try to make sure they kept that offensive line intact.
Yeah, that is the identity. And we now see the defensive line, now that they put the pads on, the defensive line emerging. We got Marcus Davenport, really good things being said about him opposite Hutch. There was a John Kaminsky injury yesterday. Of the defensive units, that defensive line, linebacker, or the secondary, which do you think is going to be the most important positional unit for the Lions defense this season?
I think it's just the D-line. The D-line has got to be solid and be able to get some pressure on the quarterback. It's the old thing about, well, if your D-line gets pressure, it takes pressure off of your cornerbacks. If your cornerbacks can cover, it gives your D-line more time. No. You don't have a lot of rookies on your D-line. What you do have is rookies in your secondary. The D-line has to be the leaders in that, and they have to be able to create that pressure to give their cornerbacks some ability to be able to cover.
I love that. And you talked about the rookies in the secondary, the defensive line helping them. I'm with you in lockstep. That secondary is completely revamped. And I was kind of surprised to see Emmanuel Mosley out there so much, so early. This secondary not only feels revamped, but it feels like it could be a really good unit across the league. What are your expectations as a whole? How much can this secondary sort of catapult this defense into, dare I say, a top 12, a top 10? What type of top unit could this defense be?
Yeah, I'll say top half. Let's get to top half first, and then we can start elevating from there. But rookie corners don't always come in and have immediate contributions, certainly not on the positive side, unless you're a Sauce Gardner, and those are few and far between. But I think for Terry and Arnold and Rakestraw, you've got to be able to just not make big mistakes. Don't have these blown coverages where you're just giving up touchdowns and you just don't belong on the field. If we don't see that and we're not calling their names very often, I think that's the bar that we're trying to set here. But again, they can exceed that and come in and really start creating some pressure, really start laying the wood and getting some hits and providing some help from the secondary.
Well, Rod, real quick before we move on, thank you so much for being here. I got to ask you a Red Wings question. I am the Red Wings guy. I want to ask you, if we don't make the playoffs, but there is substantial youth, I'd say, a step forward from this youth movement that Yzerman is going with, would you say that's a successful season for the Red Wings, or would it not be successful because they didn't make the playoffs?
I would say not successful because 99 teams in the NHL make the playoffs. Like, seriously, if you don't make the playoffs, it means you're a bad team. And so I think the progression has to be, and they were right there this year, that if you're right on the edge of the playoffs, you need some internal improvement and to be able to bring in a couple of guys. And they didn't bring in too many guys, but having a new goalie is going to help them too. 2 new goalies, actually, is going to help them. So I think you've got to have that rotation, and one of those guys is going to bubble up to the top to be your main go-to guy.
Man, Rod, as always, man, you're bringing the facts. You spit the heat. It's awesome to have your perspective on the show as well, knowing that you've covered a lot of different sports here in Michigan. So you have that perspective. And now as sports editor-in-chief for the Detroit News, we appreciate you, man, just giving your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Anytime, gentlemen. Have a good Wednesday.
Hey, you too, brother.
Well.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
And
Rod.
once again, shout out to you, Cody Davis. Welcome and congratulations, Detroit News Pistons beat writer, and you said Nolan Bianchi is the new Detroit Lions beat writer for Detroit News.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Thank you to you, and you guys always, tap in with the Detroit News as well and support them and support Rod Beard, the legend. Man,
Chris McCoskey.
love it.
Chris McCoskey of the News, one of the best beat writers in the country. Tony Paul.
Yeah,
Rod's got himself a team. Rod's got himself a team,
bro.
It's
a team.
It's
A
I don't know.
squad. And he still gives his time to so many other
us.
people. Yeah, I love it, man.
I appreciate you for that relationship. Rod's just a great guy. Not only is he a legend, but he adds true, relevant meaning to some of these conversations to get his perspective. As much as I think I know from the last 30 years, I don't know. I don't know everything. You don't know. Have him on is huge.
He has
it's
that
huge.
perspective, though. Yep.
Yeah. Let's get back to talk about these Lions.
We have to.
Yeah.
I know he's ecstatic, as we all are, that you just about in his Rake Straw. And I know you said you have a definitive statement, something of passion that you want to share about Rake Straw. And I'm ecstatic, man. Rake Straw, Jamison Williams, for those guys who make the noise they are once the pads went on, I am excited. But now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in any extra fees. I see you in the TD booth there, JB Smooth. I think your mic might be muted, but I see you. And they'll make sure they're not raising your deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698. Again, word to my brother Flannel, that number 313-530-1698, or visit them online, SwissINS.com, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How? Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at WoodwardSports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Did somebody say merch? Do yourself a favor, head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We are dropping new designs every single week, but I gotta tell you about the ones we got up here on screen. We got the Stoked Not Scared, which I hope you're wearing at training camp right now down at Allen Park. We also got the hashtag Boo Them Kids. This is out right now as well too. That's finally cleared out space in Kool-Aid's closet for these t-shirts. You gotta do that. And you can't forget about the Woodward Sports Tigers as well too. They might not have done what you wanted at the trade deadline, but come on, you still got to support the squad. Head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab, get swagged out.
Definitely need a towel today, Frank. Definitely need a towel today.
It's like 4 periods.
No, what I'm saying, you definitely need one today.
I don't think I'm gonna sweat at all. Yeah, I got it. I'll get you a towel. Are you mic'd up?
No. Are you?
I just saw the camera turn towards you.
Where?
Neil.
Oh, him? Yeah.
My mic? Who's mic'd up? Are you mic'd up, dude?
No. Are you?
Can you hear me?
He can hear you.
Nuts? Am I mic'd up?
Frank's mic'd up. What the nuts is Frank mic'd up?
Yo, are you mic'd up and not telling us? That's
No.
messed up.
What do you mean?
Tyler, are you mic'd up? I don't think so.
Let me see. Oh, it is me.
Out on
God, Manu.
What up, dog? People, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Hey, man, what the nuts? Am I mic'd up? Dog.
They're just a bunch of dudes hanging out together.
Detroit Lions training camp, bro. The energy is electric, right?
Electric. Electric. And that's what, I think that's, it's ads. So that would have been, they got fans out in the field. The energy is it's got to be fun down there.
Greg.
We need them to move to some afternoon practices for me.
Yeah, you know what?
Please.
Shout out to Greg in the chat, man.
What'd he say?
Chat family, as always, you guys are the most important part of this. No. He said, Kool-Aid gonna have another baby when he hits the like button.
Is Queen in the chat? Queen?
Hey, you know what? We'll see if she pops in. I'll definitely let y'all know. Hey, let's go.
Hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Oh, yeah. Caress that thing.
Okay, press it now so we can talk Lions.
Hey, let's rock. Lions, 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 Lions. I'm too pumped up, man. 39 days away.
There are so many storylines coming out. People want to talk J-Mo.
They want to talk J-Mo.
Hooker. They want to talk Marcus Davenport and the defensive line, which includes Levi O. Let's get into it. We're going to hit them all, by the way. It's semi-rapid fire. Just want to see what order you guys want to go in. Because J-Mo keeps doing his thing out there. Like, we're not just talking about one good practice, one good OTAs, one good mini camp. He's starting to stack days. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like immediately this year, but he's doing future star things. Like this is a progression you want. I'm not calling for that this year. I don't know how many stats he's going to be, but we see him now out there against above competent DBs and cornerbacks. Like, he now gets to go against Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson, who's the ultimate competitor. Terrion Arnold, Enos Rakestraw.
You know what?
Like,
all this noise coming from going up against probably the best defensive secondary Lions have had in I don't know how long.
It's iron sharpens iron in the most perfect situation. Like that term gets used a lot. This is exactly what's happening. He not only gets to learn from Amon-Ra St. Brown, Antoine Randall, Donovan Peoples-Jones, but he gets to go against the dogs of the defense. I know we're talking Jamison Williams, but one of those dogs, Enos Rakestraw. And Justin's got something he wants. I don't know what he's about to say, but I think you're a fan of Enos.
Oh, yeah. He said he had it. Listen, y'all, he walked into the studio today. He planted a flag down that had the big line, not the malnourished. So I'm talking about the not the one that JB resents, but I'm talking about the ferocious one. I'm talking about the one that we got on the chain here. And he said, I got something to say about the rake. What up, though, that dude, Justin?
Hey, shout out Enos Rakestraw Jr., first of all. But I have to make a declaration to the people.
Hey, say it with all your I need the passion. You gotta preach this to me.
All my chest.
Let's go.
I am the president of the Enos Rakestraw Jr. fan club. That is my dude. He is going to be a dog. I believe in him. There are certain types of players, when you put the pads on and you start making plays, that's what I want to hear. I don't care about what you're doing with no pads on. I want to see you hitting people. I want to see you pressing people. I want to see you doing what you do best. And this, everyone talks about Terrion Arnold, and Terrion Arnold's awesome. Let's not get that twisted. But I want people's second thought. Ennis Rakestraw, you are not my second thought. I love you, man. I'm so excited for you to be on this team. Oh my God, Ennis Rakestraw,
I love this.
you are a dog. I'm so fired up for you to be on this roster. Absolutely laying dudes out when they come and you're pressing them on the line. Let's go.
Let's go. I love that energy. Hey, chain is going on. Let's go. Training camp, man.
The special part about that is they also have Terrion Arnold. Like, you didn't say anything bad about Terrion Arnold, but
no, he just said 1A and 1A.
Yeah, benefit of that's your second round pick. They doubled down on cornerbacks for this specific reason. Not only do they have 2 shots at winning the lottery, but they got 2 guys who I believe they're both going to contribute this year.
I do too, as well. And
I don't know how early, if not week 1, but they're going to contribute this season.
Listen, we talk about the confidence of Terrion Arnold, and his, to me, it's a lot more out there. But Ennis Rakestraw has he has that same type of confidence, but it's not as out there. It's almost this quiet confidence, this stoicness that he has. And to hear the reports, to see some of the flashes, to see kind of the physicality that he has, and honestly, the IQ that he has. One of those plays where it was I believe a cut to the left by the wide receiver, and it seemed like he was just a step behind, but realistically, he was able to play exactly where the pass was. Was the pass going to be one that was to the back, kind of in the pocket? Or was it going to be one that was kind of out in front? Was he going to lead the wide receiver? Was the wide receiver doing a hook? Because you don't know. And he kind of took a step back, looked at it, the pass went out, and he instantly went out and played the pass. It looked like the receiver was about to get the catch. And what did he do? Smacked it away. There you go. It's like, Rakestraw, he has a lot more IQ, and he might be a lot more game ready than we probably thought because he's a rookie. But he looks like he just knows what he's doing out there.
100%. And Ennis Rakestraw, I went on at Lions Shop last night because I was looking to buy a jersey. I'll be straight up. I want that black jersey. But they do not have you on the website at all. So I'm about to tweet this at you. If you could find me a way to get the Vapor on-field black Lions Ennis Rakestraw jersey, please help me out because I want to be one of the few people repping the official Ennis Rakestraw jersey because I am president of this fan club, and if you want to join, you better hop in line that this dude's a dog.
Yeah, but you know what? But the real K Collins said, I am on my JMO-ish this season, #9 or number 9. Like, that's JMO has looked so confident, and not just confident in terms of how his antics are, but in terms of how he looks in these highlights off the plays. And we get it. It's just training camp, so we still continue to try and temper these scenes because you want to see him do this in the game. But I feel like we've seen him kind of do some of this stuff in the games, especially in the playoffs.
When you look close at, like a receiver is an interesting evaluation in training camp because you can actually see in drills improvement. Like, it's not just about going up against a cornerback around on the other side of you. You see how he's cutting different. He's cutting sharper. You see his route tree. It's not just a slant. It's not just an out. You got dig routes. You got curl routes. You got true football development. And when you do that, and when you hear Jamison Williams say something like, when asked about what he realized this offseason or what he started to figure out to sort of take this next step, he said, I realized I can't just be fast. That is the most mature thing someone like him could probably say. Because up until the NFL, every step of the way, his speed has been able to make up for any deficiencies in his route running, in his hand. Like, your weaknesses are overlooked because you are so fast. It's not that, although he is one of the elite weapons and speed weapons in the NFL.
Still had criticisms about his route running and that it was a little sloppy. He wasn't necessarily getting the timing down.
There are Sauce
He didn't know
Gardners.
where to turn his head, if it's over the left shoulder or the right shoulder. These are criticisms we heard about him.
Ball tracking.
Yeah, ball tracking. And
ball tracking.
Your ball tracking.
That's a new one.
That's the new one.
That's the new one. No, but it's true. All those things. Like, one of the plays of the year last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers touchdown pass to Jamison Williams. Great catch, great play. It did look a little wonky, like how he sort of flipped around. He had to like he made the play, which is awesome. The next step is actually being better about reading the ball, seeing it, and being able to adjust with the ball in the air, which wasn't necessarily his game at Alabama. But he's turning into a multifaceted wide receiver, and that's where I think everyone can truly feel the hope throughout all of last. We saw it down the stretch, even in the 49ers game, which might have been one of his best games of the year. See Jared Goff look for him and them complete passes on mature routes.
Like that underneath routes. Routes across the middle.
That touchdown pass at the end of the game.
8-yard passes, things like that, letting him do work, speed, and space.
Trust.
I love that trust. And you have to trust him. But the only way you trust him is if he's actually putting in the work. And it's what you stated there. And it's a word we're going to continue, I believe, to hear with Jamison Williams. It's maturity.
Yeah,
that's
Scott
the
Rieger.
word there.
Scott Rieger, let's not forget he was lights out in the NFC Championship game with 2 touchdowns. He's only going to refine his game and get better. 2024 breakout season incoming. That's right, Scott.
Listen, nobody $2 super chat said, I'm fired up. I'm fired up with a bunch of line emojis. And that's the thing. If we didn't see what we saw towards the end of last season with J-Mo, then with the training camp, we would definitely have to say, look, like Flannel said, no victory lapping at all. But I'm going to take this really with what he did towards the end of last season, what he did in that NFC Championship game, what he did against the Cowboys. I'm going to, in pressure cooker situations on the road, I'm sorry. I'm going to let what I see in training camp matter because I am seeing improvements over the last couple of training camps. I am seeing improvements. One, just being healthy. 2, listen, not being in anything. That means that he's focusing, not being in anything, no type of mistake. That means he's focusing on football, focusing on getting better, and focusing on meeting the standard. Because if you're a number 2 wide receiver, that means that if we need you to step up, like there was a game that Amon-Ra missed, if we need you to step up, then you got to be that guy.
You got to be a number 1 that day, not just a number 2 gimmick player, which he's more than a gimmick, so don't take that and run with it. But to be that number 1 reliable pass catcher, if Amon-Ra has to miss the game,
that's the mentality.
We don't need him to be that for 17 weeks, but if Amon-Ra goes down for a week, we need him to step up. Because after J-Mo, the wide receiver core does change a little bit. But again, you still have Sam Laporta. You still have that crew. One of the things that gets overlooked, the exciting play in that NFC Championship game, the reverse, the end around to J-Mo that he scored a touchdown. That's one of the best defenses in the league. And he not only outran everybody, he had Pro Bowl, All-Pro linebackers falling off his jersey, not able to hang on. That's before he got stronger this offseason. J-Mo's got big things coming. And on the opposite side of the ball, 2 players I want to talk about. And JB, if you got something to say about J-Mo, feel free to revert back. But Marcus Davenport and Levi Onwuzurike. Levi's, I don't know who to be more excited. Levi is getting praise.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's glazing on him.
Wasn't it really?
Like a Krispy Kreme donut.
Kelvin Shepard, too, on an interview with Costa and Jansen this morning, said, Levi O is looking like a guy I've never seen since he arrived here in 2021. So Levi O or Marcus Davenport, and for me specifically Marcus Davenport, this is why they didn't go out or yet and get a high-priced edge on the opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, or even possibly opening up this money with Taylor Decker. They know if healthy, I think Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, and crew, they think Marcus Davenport could possibly be that long-term solution opposite Aiden. It may need a little money for him this offseason, but to be determined. Marcus Davenport, Levi O, Broderick Martin, JB, how you feeling about this defensive line?
I mean, you know how we feel about Broderick Martin as it is. We've seen the videos from him this past, summer, this off season, him pulling the trailer. I really want to get to see how he looks during practice as well too. But the praises that Dan Campbell is giving Levi Onwuzurike, it's like, come on, we haven't seen this past season, and for him to come out and say this during camp, even though, as Flannel said, you can't victory lap during camp, but this is impressive.
And you know, JB, Dan Campbell's not going to sugarcoat anything.
Oh no,
he's not
absolutely
gonna say anything
not.
Good if he has nothing good to say.
Absolutely not. He's not the type of person to just sugarcoat anything. He gives it to you straight, pause, and tells you right up there that like, hey, these guys are putting in work. This is the most impressive group and core that he's seen in a while, and he is happy with the results that they've done during the offseason away from their facility. Like it shows now that they have been working, trying to get better.
Yeah, and you know what though? You said it best when you talk about Dan Campbell being a guy who's going to definitely sing the praises of guys that deserve it, but probably hold his tongue a little bit from the guys who haven't earned that. Hendon Hooker. And I go to you, JB, because I know that you are president of the Hendon Hooker Club. I see the face. Talk to me about Hendon Hooker, man. How are you feeling so far about Hendon Hooker? Because this is a big role for him as backup quarterback to a team that has Super Bowl expectations, or as Broder said, or is he? Talk to me, JB.
Yeah, like I said, I am the biggest Hendon Hooker fan that probably we have here during the morning show. But at the same time, I do think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for him. And you got to think as well, too, he is coming off that injury. You don't want to rush him out there as fast as you can. You do want to see him during this preseason games. I don't know when he'll get in, whether that's, the second half or maybe, late in the fourth, something like that. But as of right now, I think it's probably Nate Sudfeld that's going to be that number 2, that backup. Until, Hooker gets his legs under him and kind of gets control of the game as it is right now, which is fine. You don't want to rush anything as well, too. But I still think that this guy will be extremely talented and could be your either future starter or, hell, as of right now, a backup within a year.
You still got belief. But, I still got hope. I got to ask you, though, man. It's Super Bowl expectation year. We got to lean up here. Any personal goals? Yeah. Win a Super Bowl. That's my only personal goal.
Can I hit on Hooker real quick? I'm sorry.
No, you can. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hit a Hooker.
Definitely.
No GTA. I won't be doing that. But I just, honestly, I hate to be that guy, but how valuable Brad Holmes is with third-round picks, I really feel like that Hendon Hooker pick was a wasted pick. And I don't see the pathway for him even being a good starting quarterback in the NFL, unfortunately.
Ever? Wow. Yeah. Ever from a couple of weeks of practice?
That's a bold statement, Justin.
I was never high on him coming out of school.
At least?
Okay, so you weren't high on him coming out of school.
Yeah, that offense from Tennessee, you saw Joe Milton get installed to it in that bowl game with that roster, with that talent around him. It is 1-2 read and then throw or run. There is no elite level field awareness that Hendon Hooker has ever had to deal with, and I question his ability to read an NFL defense. And when you had guys taken with the next pick like Tank Dell when we desperately needed a receiver, I know hindsight's always 20/20, but there was players on the board that could have helped this team and been a significant piece on this roster outside of someone who can't even beat Nate Sudfeld out for QB2.
Fair. I'm not going to say you have bad points. I hate to throw the P word back at you, but I think with Hooker, you got to be patient. Hooker's like Broderick Martin. He's like Gio Manu, just playing the biggest, most important position on the field. I can see where you might think that. I'm holding out for a little more. It might take another year for him to just be in this system.
I don't like the age either.
What?
I don't like the age either.
Why?
It's just
how does that affect the line?
It gave him more time and are you gonna Bo Nix is not gonna work out in the NFL. I'll say that on wax. He was competing at he's been in school for 5 or 6 years. Hendon Hooker was in school for 5 or 6 years. He went to VT and then transferred to Tennessee. I just don't like older quarterbacks coming into the league, and they showed the tape that they've been playing against younger guys who aren't NFL caliber, and I just don't like the transition with less of a window to be successful.
I hear you. I would say I hear you, especially at positions outside court. If there's one position where I take a little less of that, it's a quarterback. I just need you to lead a team, make the right throws, have as much experience reading defenses as possible, which plays into your point of he didn't get true NFL defensive reading experience at Tennessee because of the offense he's run. So we're going to dive more into Hooker, but I know
he's also older than Jordan Love. Shout out Allen W for that stat.
I just don't care.
That dude Justin is not budget, bro.
I just don't care about his age. And Dan Orlovsky's got some BS comments, but we got to get to what's we got to smooth. But you had one thing, and I think plays into Tiger Town's question marks.
I do because I'm gonna read Tiger Town's comment right after this question to kind of tie it all together before you give your answer, and it's just Super Bowl expectations for the Lions. They're saying it themselves. It's not just what we believe as hype. They're saying it as well. This is what they're doing. Nate Sudfeld as backup quarterback. Is that enough for the Detroit Lions?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I want to say no.
Yeah.
But all reports are saying he's not just playing well, which he did last year in training camp too before he tore his ACL. It's not just that he's playing well, but he is better than he was last year. He is actually improved, which is a good thing. And
I'll believe it.
We'll go optimistic side, then we'll go maybe reality or pessimist side.
Because I want to read Tiger Town's comment.
Nate Sudfeld is your closest similarity to type of player and quarterback to Jared Goff. So they literally don't have to change anything about the offense. It plays right into what Sudfeld could do too. It's not requiring Jared Goff to run around or to make insane deep passes. Sudfeld is smart enough. He understands everything. It just is the talent there. That's to be determined. It definitely wasn't last year. His value is in the quarterback room, helping Goff prepare for that week. They got a decision to make using the emergency third quarterback.
Yeah.
As it stands, right? If the season started tomorrow, Sudfeld would be the number 2.
Yeah.
Is that enough for the Super Bowl run? Questionable. I don't know.
But let's be realistic. The Super Bowl run, it's predicated on Jared Goff. It doesn't matter. Unless they're going to bring in a true bona fide starter-level quarterback to be the backup.
Yeah.
This thing is about Jared Goff or bust.
Can Sudfeld hold down the fort enough if Goff has to miss a game?
Yeah.
I think he can.
A game.
You hope so.
But
I think he's competent enough.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people feel like Tiger Town, though. He said, we need to stop acting like we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's time we live in reality and actually judge things based on merit and logic. And I wonder, what would he say to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Panay Sewell, Dan Campbell, Aleem McNeil? Because we're talking this thing based on what they're saying as well, based on what we saw them do, based on last year, based on where they're ranked, based on what even people who want to disrespect them this year, the most they can do is say, we think Jordan Love is better, but we still think the Lions are going to finish better than the Packers. That's the most disrespectful thing that we can hear about the Lions because everybody's in lockstep. This is one of those teams that is going to be one of your top 5 squads in all of NFL, one of your top 2, at worst, 3 squads in all of the NFC, and they're going to win the NFC division again. They're going to give themselves a great opportunity to be able to get right back in the position they were in last year. Who really, not that it's not tougher, but when you go into the playoffs, is there teams that really scare you, or are you going in this time with the Detroit Lions knowing we've made some improvements? Jared Goff is saying, yo, look, I'm in the middle of my prime, and we see this guy's only continue to improve. Like, I don't know, man.
I'm with Easy. Merit and logic would tell you the Lions are competing for a Super Bowl. I love you, Tiger Town, but if you're not thinking Super Bowl right now, if you're not thinking Super Bowl right now, you're living in a different world. This team, and I get it sounds crazy, the Lions are Super Bowl contenders. It is 100% real.
And I give every fan that.
It is 100% real. This roster is built. It's real. They have a real coaching staff. They have real dudes. They're not scared of anybody. In fact, other teams are scared of the Lions. It is 150% Super Bowl or bust here in Detroit. That's what every single fan needs to be thinking. That needs to fuel your cheering down at Ford Field.
That's the national narrative.
Voice in the back of your head. Should I get that plane ticket to go to Dallas for that game or go to Houston? Yes, you should, because this team is going to the Super Bowl.
Let's
Broder
go.
got me fired up.
It's happening.
Let's go. I like that.
Talk your shit.
Boy, Broder over there.
We're complaining about the Tigers being 3 years away. The Lions are right there. It's right here in front of them for the next 3 to 7 years.
And they're the team that did it right.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. You heard it here first. Matthew Broder.
Let's get the break so you knew what's trending with JB Smooth. And there's so many great questions. I want to get to mailbag. Let's take a quick break. Quick break. What are we doing? I'm going to tell you about Mark White, right?
Yo, rewind the last 5 minutes of this segment.
Do it.
Goodness.
Because if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch, Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. I said $5,000. So call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Strokey's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan. They're known for their quality hand-breaded, hand-battered chicken tenders, sandwiches, New York-style pizza, delicious biscuits. They got locations all over Detroit, Metro Detroit, so they're doubling their number of restaurants this year. They just had a grand opening in Madison Heights, so go check them out. Try them at a mega station near you or go to www.sorokias.com. Also, if you got kids or you're a kid listening, want to join the best football league in Metro Detroit, join the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. It offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 enticing, exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All their coaches are trained, certified, background checks run, so register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org for $175. You get equipment, meals, transportation. It's all included, including a chance to play in the championship game at Ford Field. So, guys, put the youth back in youth sports. Do it with BGCSM 3C Sports.
Let's go. Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off the day with the Woo Crew. Shout out to KG. Shout out to our brother Flannel Sam. We can't wait to have those guys back with the entire squad. We got that dude Justin in the sound booth. We're about to hear Woodward Sports MVP cook up in a little bit. JB Smooth, Broder, and myself, Kool-Aid up here. Shout out to Ed O'Neill. He said, people say, $4.99 super chat, people say the Lions are right behind the 49ers. If that's true, if that's the case, they aren't afraid with who they play. So why should we be afraid? They're not afraid. They know exactly what's right in front of them. And you know what? The national narratives now that are ranking them this, they are late to the party. Dan Campbell said this right after the San Francisco game. We know where we should have been already, and we know where we're going to be back next year. Now everybody's coming back saying, oh, you know what? They are still that team. And Tiger Sound, we still appreciate your support. Thank you for tapping in. I know we got a little fired up at his statement, but all opinions are respected, even if you disagree. But you got to lock it in. They are going to the Super Bowl. Let's spark up, man. Word to Dispo.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum.
Get my man Smooth.
What's trending with JB? Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Ladies and gentlemen, JB Smooth.
Hey, let's rock.
Yo, what's up, fellas?
What up, though, brother?
What's going on? I know we're fired up and we're heated with this whole Lions talk that's going on right now, but I gotta show you someone else who was fired up yesterday because he went viral for not his music. Mr. DJ Khaled went viral yesterday for checking out a piece of his crib.
Another one?
Oh, this is his refrigerator.
Yeah, so this is his freezer.
Oh, it's heaven.
Oh, that's a freezer, yeah.
That's his freezer, you guys.
Heaven.
That's filled with nothing but ice cream.
Wow. As a freezer should be.
It looks like an ice cream truck with all those options.
Wait, you said that's DJ Khaled?
Yeah, that's DJ Khaled's freezer.
He's about to run an ice cream truck,
He's
bro.
like, hey, kid, you want another one?
That's my dream, though.
Another one.
Low key.
Is this too much, though?
No.
The fact that it's Haagen-Dazs, too. Little Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream. Talk dirty to me.
I'm a big Ben & Jerry's guy. If we're going national chain.
Any particular flavor from Ben & Jerry's?
Strawberry cheesecake. I just found out about that. I just turned into the fruity ice cream wave. And
Wait. Bro, you just found out about the strawberry shortcake?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm usually...
You've been deprived all this time?
I have, yes.
Oh, my word.
That looks amazing, JB.
That is amazing. I don't know how much he spent on all this ice cream to stock this fridge, but it probably really doesn't even matter anyway. But, guys, has this ever happened to you when you're on your way to the gym?
Oh, dog.
Oh, man.
Every time.
Man, it just fell right into his hands. You know what he's supposed to do? Why does he look like Detroit Mario?
What show is he going to watch?
That does look like Nick.
Yeah, why does this look like Detroit Mario, bro?
I think he's watching Ozark.
The tailgate wins.
I mean, it might be Nick. We don't know. I don't know. But has this ever happened to you guys when you're on your way to the gym?
I have to admit, it definitely has. Queen Kool-Aid, she can attest. I can't lie. She did pop up in the chat, so I can't even lie about it.
To me, if I'm not going in the morning, if I wake up and do something else first, the thought that goes through the excuses that go through my head from going to the gym, they're like that. But
yeah, shout out to Queen Kool-Aid for being in the chat as well too. But you guys remember Spirit Week at school?
Yeah, definitely do.
Well, this teacher is definitely going to remember Spirit Week this year.
Is that kid Kool-Aid?
Is it Kid Kool-Aid?
You know what?
You know what's happening
He
next?
got skills. I mean, Kid Kool-Aid got skills.
So he's going to the left side.
Look at it. Stop toying with that. Stop toying with that boy. He got it. His mama is in the crowd. Well, hey, look, you put him out there. You gotta strap up. Oh,
Did he make it?
oh, he made it. He made it. That's cashing the check that you wrote right there.
By the way, how about that high
Goodness
school
gracious.
court? Look, it's got like the city imprint.
Yeah,
it's kinda
that's
cool.
cold.
It also looks like the same gym
Oh
from the
my
dunker
word.
yesterday, where his mom got up pissed.
What is this? This must be this like the Spirit Week game, right?
Yeah, so this is like the Spirit Week, you
I
know,
remember
that
this stuff.
Friday when everyone gets together for that assembly and, you know.
My school used
Yeah.
to do this basketball
I
game, but
got
they
it.
stopped before I could be in it. I really wanted to do this and cross up one of my teachers.
Yeah, that's Ray for Alston's nephew. That's the mild hot sauce.
I don't remember our teachers playing in it. Like a few would, but they would play like the actual hoop team, and so there would be people from the school, not on the hoop team, who thought they should have been. And every year for Spirit Week, we made sure they recognized why we were the hoop squad.
Yes, sir.
It was fun.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It was fun.
I thought it was fun too.
In the days
you know.
of VHS.
In the what?
It was in the days of VHS.
What is that?
Exactly. Camcorders and such with actual tape that goes in.
Yeah, there was no evidence of that. Nope, not keeping any of the evidence of that. And finally, I will end it on this. Come with me and you'll see a world full of OSHA violations.
You have to start singing during the light song.
Something bad is about to happen. Oh
no.
He's
What is
looking
about
up.
to
He's
happen?
questioning himself. I shouldn't do this.
He's questioning
No, I just do it
himself?
anyway.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh no. Run. You ain't do it.
I love we just stood there.
He just
What
like,
is
no.
that guy's reaction? Was he on the phone or was he?
No, he's just like, nope, I'm not picking this
Look
up.
at
I'm
his
not
face,
dealing with
dog.
this. I'm not doing
This is what
this.
he's contemplating. Do I really want this check? Do I really want this next paycheck? Or should I just start looking for my next job before this footage hits social media?
Wild.
Oh my gosh, bro. And
What you got next?
He just sits there, bro.
He just sits there and waits, and then, yep, everything just crashes on him.
With the arm up too. He's got his arm like
It's
rested
everything
on
after, bro.
On the side, he's like, shit.
I'm wondering if he was already on his way out, bro. The way it looked like he just kind of put the momentum a certain way and was just like, you know what? They can clean this up.
Yeah, somebody else can clean this up. And finally, I will end what's trending with this. I don't know. Referees are getting a little out of hand lately with this MMA fighting. They're not like UFC referees, but man, the guy's crazy. Check out this referee.
Whoa.
Jeez.
He's trying to stop all these fights, and somehow, some way, he just gets involved in the fight.
Oh.
This isn't part of the shtick.
Okay.
This is like
This is a part of the stick. Like, he's trying to stop these fights from continuing.
Because I was going to say, if this is real, what happens when one of these fighters just say, okay, you're on the menu too, and they just go to bat.
I mean, you never know what could happen.
Sheesh.
Just saying.
JB, man, thank you so much.
But that's it for what's trending. Let's hop into
Let's
some mailbag.
Let's do
Let's
it.
rock.
We won't
Hey.
take it. Let's not go to commercial, but we got a couple ads to read.
Hey, we do.
Take the first two, then I'll introduce Feldman.
Hey, I definitely will. How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course? Oh, boy, with Braylon Edwards. It is the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today, and you could round off our foursome
Oh, that's nasty.
at woodwardsports.com or scan the code on the screen. We got a foursome here today, guys. When it comes to your next car truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive. And I got to tell you guys as well, attention sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He's on Big D Energy every Tuesday. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz every Thursday. You can catch him where he brings you top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce, he's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. He just did a pretty cool breakdown on J-Mo being beyond his injury mentally. It's pretty cool.
I
Check it
love
out.
that. I love that. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations. So there's got to be a Feldman dealership in your backyard. So visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. They are Feldman Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer and sponsor of our mailbag segment. Let's get it. I see some great questions that we got to get into.
Mailbag.
Great questions. First, actually, for the second question, there's a graphic of the NFL conference realignment.
Oh, yeah.
Could you set that up for the next, after I read the first question?
Yeah.
Tony D says, mailbag, what are the chances of us getting some good bats and maybe another ace in the offseason? And I know Dante151, he was also asking who the Tigers should target in free agency. It's just part of the confusion. The free agency class this offseason is not so hot. It's kind of bare.
It's pretty mid.
What was that?
Pretty mid.
I thought you said big. Yeah, mid. It is. So there are going to be some battles to fight for some of the top guys in free. Like, you got Juan Soto, and then you got the rest of the pack.
So, like, who's there Tobias Harris in terms of bats? I guess that's something definitely to break down for a segment.
I have my notes somewhere. I will not pull them up and go through this while we're live. So I'll try to find them. I'll try to find them because I have a whole list of like the top 20 at each position, and it's not so hot. But they got to add. They got to add several pieces because of Scooball. How about this? Charles McLean, Charles McLean crew. Mailbag, besides QB2, what's the weakest unit of the Detroit Lions?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I don't
Safety.
know.
The safety?
Safety?
We're talking with Branch, Kirby, and Iffy?
No, but I'm so high on Kirby, and I think he's good, has the potential to lead the league in interceptions. Linebackers. I'll go linebackers.
Oh, my heart. No.
It was either linebackers or receivers. I mean, this team
gonna
is
go
so
receivers.
stacked.
I was going to go wide receivers. We know what Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Everybody else is trying to prove something this year that they didn't prove last year. So I do have to go wide receivers, but I do believe that they have high potential, high ceiling, and that J-Mo is definitely going to make flannel buy a jersey this year.
What unit are you thinking?
I might have to side with Kool-Aid as well and go with receivers. I know J-Mo has a lot to prove this year as well, too. Flannel will be getting that jersey, guarantee you that. But also, you kind of want to have that solidified, solid number 2 that you know is going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
I think J-Mo can be that, but at the same time, you're still waiting for that to actually happen and for everyone to see. So it's probably got to be receivers for me.
Hey, you're not wrong, but the fact that we just picked a unit that includes Amon-Ra St. Brown shows you how this is to the we were talking, Tiger Town before the Super Bowl. When your weakest unit involves Amon-Ra St. Brown, that is a good thing. Like, that's no shame on St. Brown or the wide receiver unit. It's just that's how strong the rest of the roster
What gives them the
has
opportunity to realistically take the time they need to see what Jamison Williams is.
Yeah. How about this? Just a fan. Mailback. Who's reaching the playoffs first? The Pistons or the Tigers? And when?
You know what?
Does play-in count?
Play-in has to count, right?
All right, then the Pistons.
Yeah, I was going to say the play-in gives the
does
Pistons.
not count.
Ah, shit.
I'm gonna go Pistons. I'm gonna be bullish on the Pistons. Playoffs first.
Pistons, Tigers.
Okay. How about a slow, painful death?
I think it's
by 1,000 paper cuts.
What it should be. So what it should be is the Tigers.
Ooh, talk to me.
They didn't trade Tarek Skubal, so they need to be in the playoffs in the next 2 years. I don't know if the Pistons are going to be in the playoffs. They should be in the play-ins in 2 years, I think. Tigers, they have to be in the playoffs before Tarek Skubal's contract comes up. So
I
there's
agree with
my
that.
answer.
So I'll go with the Tigers. Thank you for convincing me, bro.
There we go. I love that. Love that. How about this? P3 Veritan YT. Broder, why is the hype still around Casey Mize? Says he needs to be traded or put down.
Oh my God! What? Oh, sit down, maybe.
It's
choice of phrase. Goodness gracious.
It's too early to give up on Casey Mize. Like there's still a little bit of, like, I don't know if he's a future ace. There are still some things that he does inconsistently, and that's the question mark. There are some things that he does that point towards a top of the rotation guy, maybe a 2 or a 3. Most of the season, he's looked like a 4 or 5, or sometimes worse. But if he can figure it out, he still has the stuff, the pitching, the pitch sequencing, the pitch mix that he throws. He's got enough stuff to get major leaguers out. The weird parts of the season where he couldn't get swing and misses, some strange things are happening. I have faith in, if he's still got it in him, Feder and this pitching staff will figure him out. So there's still enough hype, but it's the clock is ticking. He, Torque, some of these other guys, the clock is ticking.
What is with like the Mises and the Torques? Like they show so much promise and so much potential, and then now we're talking about them not even being a part of this team.
One's development and one is injuries. The hitting development of Torque since he was drafted has been non-existent, and he's just so naturally talented. He was able to get to the bigs and hit 30 home runs, but once pitchers know you and know your weaknesses at the major league level, their stuff is too good and they're able to adjust. And he looked horrible this season. Horrible. So with Mize, he's just battled injuries and arm injuries, back injuries, shoulder injuries. That's the one thing that prevents him from really taking a step, just consistently being out on the mound and pitching. So it's development. That's what Scott Harris has had to reshape. That's what the minor leagues is completely brand new. Big on my guy. Broder for his undying support of his pitchers. That's right.
I'm glad that you guys, both of you all have, I have to say KG, but that dude, Justin and Broder, both of you guys have kind of broken this down to the micro level because it's important to know that this minor league system wasn't what it was. How do we know that? Because of the players that they were trying to depend on this season. Were they Scott Harris guys or were they the guys that Al Avila stocked the previous minor league system with? Yeah. Those guys are failing before our eyes. And the thing that you want to see is what can you skim off the top and everything else you got to really flush. And I feel like that's where Scott Harris is right now. That's where, obviously we'll know a lot more as you move forward. But bringing in 8 prospects off 4 rentals, one of which you could potentially bring back to your squad next year, that's what it kind of feels like to me. And it shows just the detriment this organization was in based on the fact that we can mention guys that they're like, oh, get them off the roster, get them off the roster, get them off the roster. Who brought them here? Not Harris. No. But Scott Harris has to take the time to deal with that.
And evaluate them, which leads into this next 2 questions that I'm going to combine from BigCon51 and Herb Nash. BigCon51 says, Broder, the Tigers, mailbag to everybody. The Tigers season is pretty much in the books as well as others. Would they bring all their prospects and rookies up just to see what they have against MLB talent? And Herb Nash also asks, mailbag, with us trading Flaherty and so many injuries, is there a chance we'll see Jackson Jobe? 2 great questions that we're going to combine because prospect and rookies and Jackson Jobe, they're in multiple categories. Jackson Jobe is the top actually he's not the top prospect in the system. Was he number 2? There is a chance you see him. From my takeaway from the trade deadline yesterday, understanding that this timeline is a little farther out, I don't think they bring him up. They sort of need to, but I think they're going to be extra cautious with him. And for the next 2 months, we're going to see all of the AAA guys that need to have some true evaluation done against MLB talent. Those guys are going to come up. Maybe it's Ty Madden, who's had a pretty horrible year in AAA, but was a top prospect. Those guys are going to fill out the rotation, fill out the lineup too. Guys from AAA, maybe even a AA guy that Scott Harris and AJ Hinch just need to see at the major league level. Rookies, you're not going to see rookies at the major league level. They put them down in low A or rookie ball and let them develop. Might not even see them at the major league level in spring training next year, but they're on a developmental path. The guys who we're going to see are at the AAA level.
And I just have one more thing, because yesterday on Big D, it went to D-Mac's attention, the JMO jersey bet. And he says that he is HR of the company. So he said there should be no JMO jersey. He should have to wear a clown costume, the Wiener costume, or a Paul Bunyan Trophy costume for an entire week.
That's what it is. I mean, it's Flannel's bet. Like, I would never, the Minister of Accountability, HR, I don't have anything to say to him, but I don't understand the whole thing, so onward.
Quick question, though. Back to the Tigers, at least from that follow-up question. Broder, what's wrong with seeing like the rookies and these prospects kind of get a little bit of shine? I mean, the Tigers know that their season is basically over with, so why not at least kind of prepare them a little bit more, kind
Please.
of guide them a little bit to be like, hey, this is what the stage is. This is what the stage could be potentially for you. Are you able to handle this type of pressure? Are you willing to, toughen yourself up to, get to this level as it is right now? Because in my opinion, I feel like if you brought them up now and kind of played them against these major league teams, you kind of know, like, all right, you're not really cut out for this. You need a lot more help than what we thought and what we see already. But then again, that's just my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, they're not going to bring up 18-year-olds that have never faced Tarek Skubal before they really get their footing in professional baseball. If they bring Bryce Rayner up to face Garrett Cole, Paul Skeens, Mason Miller throwing 104. When we're talking about 18, 19-year-olds, that's where confident. It's all about, like, yeah, you want to see if they can handle it, but the difference between high school baseball and major league pitching is it's so outrageously large that it would be the number one disservice to bring them up. That's why they need their AAA guys, the guys who have hit for a couple years throughout the minor leagues, who have seen multiple pitchers, types of pitching, velocity, low velocity. The difference between AAA and major league pitching is
miles
the
apart.
biggest gap of them all. And we're talking about 4 levels below that. They're just not going to bring up the young guys, like the high school guys.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's really dope to see people so passionately engaged about these teams, even though they've been down for some time. That's Detroit, man.
That's Detroit.
They're locked in.
That's Detroit. Well, shoot. Dante, we're going to have to move it to tomorrow. We got the NFC division realignment that we keep pushing back. My bad, buddy. But let's wrap the show up. We're good. That was great.
Let's wrap it up. Chat family. The engagement was awesome. You guys' comments, agree, disagree. It was all awesome. The banter, the dialogue. Like I said, it's great to see the passion from Detroit sports fans and supporters. And ultimately, you guys being here to support the Wake Up Woodward crew. Go ahead and smash that like button if you didn't get an opportunity to yet. Shout out to Detroit's #1 draft pick as well, KG, and the vet of the squad and the network, Flannel Sam as well. Can't wait to have you guys back on the show soon. But let's get this thing already broken down. Start with our lead booth, our wonderful, stupendous, great booth. Shout out to that dude, Justin, in the sound booth today, holding it down, man. Good job today. I know you're doing multiple things in the sound booth, but you're holding it down. Thank you, brother.
Hey, shout out to Ennis Rakestraw. I think I need to have Ennis Rakestraw be part of my intro. That dude, I don't know how that would work, but I'm full force, full in on the hype train. I have 6 members of the fan club currently in chat. So shout out to Ennis Rakestraw fan club. And yeah, let's get it. Lions,
let's go.
Super Bowl. Loading.
Go, man. Yo, y'all were preaching today, too. Y'all got me really fired up today. Ennis Rakestraw. Broder was preaching at the end of the Lions segment. I'm telling y'all, go back and rewatch that last Lions segment right before it was trending, or rewatch the whole show. Shout out to Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JB Smooth.
Hey, fellas. Great show today. Shout out to my brother, my tag team partner, KG. Praying for you, man. Hopefully everything's all right. And we'll hopeful to see you tomorrow back here in studio. You'll give us our Bar King topic for Friday. So we can get that going as well, too. And shout out to all the Lions, young prospects out there. I'm with Justin as well, too. I need to go out there and find me some of these jerseys, these Makai Wingos, these Giovanni jerseys, wherever they're at, I need one of them.
Hey, let's go. This is our Tigers and Lions reporter and writer. It is a busy time for you, but you're still finding ways to hold down all the great coverage.
Got to.
Thank you for everything you do, not just coverage-wise, but also for the show, brother.
Trying to earn it. Got you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Let's go. It's your boy, Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Man, we appreciate you guys. I'm serious. Shout out to you again, Devin the Dog. The shirts are dope. Shout out to 51 Clothing. Support Devin the Dog, one of the regulars in the chat, man, as well. Thank you, Rod Beard from the Detroit News, sports editor-in-chief, for giving us this time for a couple segments. And again, as always, we appreciate you all. Have a great day. It's been a good one. Wake up, Woodward. Let's rock.